Hi, my name is Ken, and I'm with Go Creations Plus. And today I'm going to show you how I press sublimation puzzles. I have a customer who is a very good friend of mine as well as a coworker, and he ordered a couple puzzles, and I wanted to show how I went about doing this puzzle. So come back with me and with this equipment that I use, and I'll show you how I set it up and how I press it. Okay, I'm going to bring this up into Photoshop, and I'm not going to go through the setting up the template and all that stuff. I'm just going to show you what I've done and how I do it. Okay, this is the template in Photoshop, and this dark blue area that I'm surrounding here is the bleed. I'm working with a 10.1 by 13.5 inch puzzle. So with this bleed in here, I'm running at 10.307 by 13.64. But this area in here is the exact size that I need with the bleed. So I bring a picture in. Now in this case, I've already sized it up. Excuse me. I've already sized it up. And I'm going to show you here that this is the bleed section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this love section is at the top of the puzzle, and then of course everything else should be as you see it. Now that's for that picture, and then the other picture I brought in was this one. This is the size of the original picture, by the way, in this case. But anyway, you can see where the bleed is. So I'm going to shut all this off except for the picture itself, and this picture is what's going to be seen or what's going to be printed. So in order to print, because I'm using the SG800 Sawgrass printer, when I go to print, I'm just going to make sure that I'm set up through the print manager, which I am, and I'm going to make sure my settings are good, and they are. 11 by 17 paper is what I'm going to use. I'm going to run it at 600 DPI, and that should be all I need to worry about there. So once I say print, it takes a bit, but once the print comes up, or the print manager comes up, you can see, the rest of the layout and make sure that everything looks good. And one thing that I want to make sure I do is I want to make sure that I print this in a mirror image. So when it prints backwards, or a mirror, and then when I put it on the substrate, or in this case the puzzle, it'll show up perfect. So as you can see here, I've got it already mirrored. I'm printing at high quality, and I'm going to use the bypass tray. And then the layout itself should look good. I'm going to use the from the designer or from Photoshop. And there you can see that's exactly the way I want to see it. That's what I want to see come across. So everything else looks good. 11 by 17, 600 DPI. The other, I'm not going to do anything. Color, I'm going to make sure that I'm in photograph mode. I could go in grayscale. I could go in graphic. Most of mugs and things that I do with Vivid. But otherwise, in this case, I'm going to use the photographic, and then all I have to do at this point is hit the print button. I'm not going to do that because I've already printed it, unfortunately. At this point, I'll stop it, and we'll go right into the printer and how I work with that. All right, this is the SG800 printer. It's a sublimation printer, and with a bypass tray, so I can print large sheets up to 13 by 19, I believe it is. But these puzzles are 10.1 by 13.5. So I'm using a 14 by 17 paper. Now the key here is to get the shiny side in the bypass tray facing outward so it gets printed on. So sometimes the trick is finding out which one is brighter, which side. It's obviously this one. With the bright lighting, you can see that it's dull on this side and brighter on this side. So you just put it in, and then when I press print, you saw a little bit of that when it happens, but I'm not going to print it because I've already printed. But anyway, that's the printer that I use to print from. And now we'll go over to the press and show you how I get all this pressed together for a puzzle. All right. Okay, I've got them printed out. What I want you to notice here is a lot of people freak out when they first print these because it prints out darker and it looks a little off. But trust me, once we put this on the puzzle or any substrate that takes sublimation, the colors will come out. Now this is that's the size that we need it. And the other one I have here is this one. Again, you can, in the picture, all this is really nice and bright. He really provided me with a good picture. I didn't really have to do anything to it other than size it up to put on a puzzle. So what I want you to notice is that, again, it came out dark, looks dark, but once we press it, you'll see how vivid those colors will come out and you'll be impressed. Now this is a Mighty press made by Hottronics. It's a workhorse, I'm telling you. This is a 15 by 15. If I have to replace it one day, I know I will. I'll probably stick with the same brand, only I'll go with a 16 by 20 inch because I'm limited with the 15 by 15 size. Currently it's heating up. We're going to run it at 400 degrees for sublimation on this puzzles. We'll run it 400 degrees and we'll probably press around 40 seconds. They recommend anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. I found that my best results come out at around 40 seconds, and we'll press it at a medium pressure. Now, I say this is a workhorse because I bought this thing used, and I think she probably used it for, gosh, probably close to 7 or 8 years, and then I've had it since, I bet I've had it 6 years. So yeah, that's a workhorse. Now I've got a heat gun or a temperature gun, and I have not found any cold spots or anything. So I'm telling you right now, this is a workhorse, and this brand, this manufacturer is probably worth the money. So it'll last a long time. Anyway, we're going to get ready to press once it hits 400 degrees. Right now we're sitting at almost getting there. We're right around almost 350 degrees. Takes a little bit to heat up. So next step, we'll press it, and I'll show you. This is the puzzle itself. Now I don't have anything on there. That's the coating on it. That's the way it comes all together. And what we'll do is we'll tape it on with sublimation tape onto a puzzle on each of these pictures. We'll sublimate those. And I have some butcher paper I'm going to lay down on the bottom for any bleed, that because there will be some bleed, especially I imagine on that one. There'll be some bleed, so I don't want the colors, the ink to come out onto the surface of the press itself. Okay, I got the puzzle here. What we're going to do now is I'm going to prepare it for the press. So I'm going to lay this out here flat. We'll start with this one. Actually, I think we'll start with this other one. Now what's important here is I think this is a really pretty cool picture. I got it sized out like I showed before. I want to make sure that the love shows up here at the bottom, and of course that'll cut off a little bit more off the bottom here, or at the top at the bottom here, but I think it's important that that's part of it. So anyway, I'll take the puzzle and I'm going to lay it over it, and I'm going to size it up, make sure we got our bleeds, the over edge. And note that the love is up here, so I want to make sure that I got all this covered best I can, so it shows up on the puzzle itself. And I'll make the sides about as even as I can get them and leveled. And I think I'm pretty good with that. So we'll get some tape. So we got some tape here, and I'll just cut some strips off on it. Alright, so I'm going to tape off these edges so it stays on there pretty secure. Now when we put this in the press, I'm going to make sure that the paper side is facing up, and we'll press with the cardboard of the puzzle down. And like I said, I'll put butcher paper on the bottom just to keep any bleed through off. Then once we're done pressing this, I want to make sure that this is flat, but when we're done pressing with it, we're going to need to take that paper off just as soon as it's done. Okay, so that's how I set that up, and then I'll do the same thing for this other one, and I'll show you the results of both pictures, both puzzles after the picture is sublimated on. Okay, we're currently sitting at 400 degrees, maybe a hair over, so I'll turn down just a little bit. And okay, I'm going to lay down the butcher paper so I don't have any bleed over. And then I'm going to set this up on here. I got the cardboard on there, but I'm going to remove the cardboard. I don't know if that's necessary or not, but I always do. I remove the cardboard. And I make sure that I've got this over the platen itself. It's ready to go. So I think I'll put some butcher paper over the top as well, just in case. Now I've got my starter here, so remember I said it, we're going to run 400 degrees, about 40 seconds at medium pressure. That's too light. That's almost good. So unfortunately there's nothing in there that tells you that what's light and what's heavy and all that good stuff. You just got, it's a good feel. So I'm satisfied with the way it's sitting right now. So now I'm going to run it. Like I said, we're going to run it for 40 seconds. Alright, now we're ready to take it out. Alright. I gotta get that paper off of there. Get all that tape off the back and everything. Make sure I get it on this cardboard, and then I'll press it back down. But that's it. That's the puzzle. I don't know if you can see that well with the glare of the light, but you know, the idea is people like these, put them in, you know, have it framed, and then they hang it up. Now I just got done pressing the other one. Now I knew this one would come out good because of the difference in the colors. This came out awesome. I think he's going to really, really like that. That's how I do my puzzles. It's very simple. The hardest part is getting the tape on and off, you know, so you don't leave the paper on too long. And obviously dealing with the heat. You know, it's 400 degrees, you know, you can burn yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the rambling. It's not really structured, but hey, that's me. So we just did that. Here's the final product. I'll show a couple stills as well.